Hi, everyone. Come on in. Join us as we anxiously have this episode. welcome to
Oh,
the welcome to the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT network here at Center Ice. I am Nick. Beside me, as always, is Brit. How are you, Brit?
I have slept better in many nights in my life than the last few,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
mm,
I too have
I'll
had.
let you know after tonight where we settle in.
I suppose. We will either go to bed still more anxious or
Oh God, I can't
angry.
do it. I like. I'm just not even letting myself go there. The thing is, so many of us thought that they would win in 6 or 7, and
Yep.
you have to lose games to win in 7. But
Yep.
for whatever reason, it feels better when you volley the losses and not. I don't know.
Yep. But we'll get into it here in just a second. But before we begin, don't forget everyone to like and subscribe, follow the MHRT network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, we ask that you do so at the Cluster Puck podcast on Facebook or at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Be warned, I have not done anything social media wise for the past 2 months. I basically said it's not worth it at this point in time. I'll get back onto it. I just haven't done anything with it. So news, games, reports, anything like that. It's just I'm too far behind, and then just kind of scheduling is just crazy, Ben. So regardless, let's talk about some things, Britt, because we didn't have an episode last week. Obviously, I was out on vacation. You got a nice break.
Did you follow then along with, or did you just come back?
They did have the games available on the ship.
Did you
There
let
were a
everybody?
lot of Avalanche fans in
Oh, were
attendance,
there?
which was rather surprising. However, majority, I'd say, because on that ship there was a sports bar kind of place where we watched all
Okay.
kinds of games and the NFL draft. Like, we did everything.
Yeah,
So
there was
I
a
caught
lot going
as much as I could.
about
I
the
wasn't able
draft,
to get to
man.
everything, so I did rewatch game 2, I think is what it was,
Uh,
where they scored the overtime winner in Dallas. Speaking of, we'll get to that. But I think what needs to happen first is we need to kind of talk about how we got to this point in time. So last we spoke a couple of weeks ago, Britt, you and I had both guessed in this first round series that the Avalanche would win in 5 games.
yeah.
That is not the case anymore. It is now
Right.
game 6, and the Avs are on the brink of being eliminated, being down 3-2. Not what I was having on my bingo card for sure. However, like we also did say, kind of our little fail-safe phrase that we put toward the end of the episode is anything can happen, and Brit, anything has happened.
Anything annoying or bad luck for the Avs that could happen has happened.
That's exactly right. So we'll briefly go through games 1 through 5, kind of catch people up with maybe what has happened or what our thoughts were on the games before talking about this game 6, which is happening. Puck drop is in less than an hour, so obviously we'll make sure that our time is cut short so everyone can view that game and hopefully stay alive to fight another day. Okay, so game 1. Let me find this here. The Avalanche skate away with a 5-1 win over the Dallas Stars. This one was the third period paradise that we've seen the Avalanche have before. They score a couple up. Dallas doesn't get anything until about halfway through the third period. So now it's 2-1. Avalanche the rest of the way. Score. And it finishes 5-1. And so after that first game, I was thinking, okay, this is a good start. This is exactly what I had thought was going to happen. You get game 1, so you have it in your pocket. Now, if you could just roll over that same energy to game 2, you are in a great spot looking for game 3.
Right. And I don't like the score isn't like totally a reflection of the game. It sounded like I think it was closer than it looks.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it felt like it at times. Obviously, playoff atmosphere. No game is ever really out of reach per se, but
especially with these two teams.
Especially with these two. Yep, I agree. Big thing though is I was quite impressed. Obviously, Nathan McKinnon with a couple of goals in this game.
Yes,
He, I would say, was the best of those players from the day. Blackwood did an amazing job. I was also really impressed with Logan O'Connor getting a couple of assists. He'll come into play in the next couple of games.
Yep, he really got on a lot of radars starting with this game. He's not just a nobody. Like there's a lot of people talking about just loving him.
Yep. So, game 2, you're up 1-0 at this point in time. This game you lose in overtime at a score of 4-3. You were tied going into the first period, I should say, 1-1. Dallas scores, you respond with 2 of your own. And when I say you, I say the Avalanche, right? Yeah. Goals by Drury and by, guess who? Logan O'Connor.
O'Connor, Drury, and Parker Kelly are like seriously
they turned on a new level.
Stars' lives this year. The Stars are leaving this hockey season hating those 3 men more than probably anyone they've ever met. Like they are in everyone's head.
It's going to be, like Fernando says here, it is going to be a crazy night for Denver. As the Nuggets also have some games.
Oh, I don't know that.
That's right.
Okay, so I don't know anymore.
What's that?
Oh, there's a comment. I see it now.
There we go.
I thought I didn't get a message. We switched our thing. Sorry.
No, you're good. So,
about somebody talking to us.
So you're maintaining a third period lead at this point in time. Halfway through, Evgeny Dadonov scores to tie the game. My thought was at that point, if you just get the one, right, you're in good shape. The problem being this whole game, it took everything they had just to get the 2. And you could just
was like balls to the wall from the first second to the last. I mean, it's honestly shocking that 2 teams can play this hard for this many games in a row, but this game was one that it felt like everybody busted their ass the whole time.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily for lack of effort, but the thing is, just Jake Ottinger began to be a stone wall, and you just no matter what happened, you couldn't get anything past him. There were a lot of poor play as far as just turnover or mishandling the puck when you had it in your offensive zone, but it wasn't all the time. It was just at those unfortunate moments where if you just kept it in the zone, you kind of maybe had them on the ropes.
I mean, much of the recurring topic, pretty much starting with game 2, is the power play. The power play has not been good enough, and just overpassing. Everybody just like. I'm not a fan of the fans who truly think that they can coach an NHL team, or that they like some stupid little piece of advice that they have is gonna mean be superior to what their coaches are telling them. But it's almost shocking sometimes to see the decisions that they've made to shoot instead of pass instead of shoot, especially when like we're seeing sloppy shit go in the net. Like it's happening for that. Like, look at that first goal scored on the last game. Like there is value in just chucking a puck at a net sometimes. And I have feelings
on game 5, Brit.
Oh God.
You say that. Okay, so you then go to overtime with this second game.
Yeah.
With about 3 minutes left, roughly. For some reason, the shot goes up against Blackwood. He makes the stop. He is staring about 6 feet away from a puck at rest. No one is touching it for multiple.
It looks like
seconds.
everybody just time traveled from the 1800s and just popped up in this hockey game and had no idea where they were standing or what they were doing. Like
everyone with the exception of Colin Blackwell, who charged with all of his might to that puck at rest, grabbed it, flip wrist shot, and squeezes it past Mackenzie Blackwood, and the Stars win.
Yep.
Frustrating to say the least, but you're at least I found solace at that time that okay, you got the tides, you tied that 1-1, you split that home, you're headed now back to Ball Arena.
And that was the whole thing. We just have to we stole their home advantage. Like that was
that was the thought. And I thought, okay, we're in great shape, right? Well, here's what happens next. You go to Ball Arena for game 3 and you lose that one 2-1. They steal that game from you.
The return of Gabriel Landeskog
is foiled from Tyler Seguin. And this one was the frustrating one because we get the first goal and then nothing happens until about halfway through the third period when Jamie Benn on a power play, again, one of those, you've got to be kidding me. Why is he always there type moment.
My God, his stupid face.
And it's just a redirect toward the net, kind of flubs it, but it gets past Blackwood and it's a tie game. Here's the frustrating part though, Brit, about this is they had plenty of chances to go up 2-0 throughout the rest of the first and the second period.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, literally, I said, if someone scores the second goal, if the Avs in particular score the second goal, they will win the game. I told that to myself sometime in the middle of the second period, right? And that would have been right. That's the hard part about it. It would have been right.
Yeah, but the emotions were too, like, that's what needed to happen.
And the hard part is, obviously, with Gabe Landeskog returning and playing, luckily that was one of the games that they had on the ship, so I was able to watch that. I cried, naturally.
Oh, absolutely.
But that I didn't want that to be the overshadowing thing of, oh, let's make sure Gabe's okay, or hey, make sure it gets to Gabe so he can get an assist, or anything like that.
For as frustrating as that game was, it was also like, oh, heck yes. Like, he's not out there and not, he was a full liability. He is Gabe freaking Landeskog. And he's freaking Landeskog with 3 less years of wear and tear on his body than the core that he won the cup with.
No kidding. However, as much of pomp and circumstance and you were able to receive in that game, you don't get that second goal. The game gets tied. You go to overtime. And I thought, okay, the way that they were able to get all these chances generated, we're going to be in good shape. Well, no.
Right.
And that was the hard part about it. In a heartbreaking way, I think about 5.5 minutes in, Tyler Seguin pots this kind of unfortunate half backhanded shot that just,
at the end was the exact same as the night before.
And it felt the same way. Yep, that's what I was going to say. Now here's the hard part about this, Brit. At this point in time, you're down 2-1 when you thought at this point you'd be up 3-0. You could have been, I should say.
Yeah. So now we lost our home advantage.
Yep. So we took one from them. They have responded in kind. So naturally, the Avalanche, the response to that is you have to go and make a massive impression for Game 4. And what do, Britt? They go and make a massive impression in Game 4.
Literally, just like there were moments that I should just go back and watch that game every once in a while when I'm feeling real hateful, because that game was one of the best looking hockey teams I have ever seen step foot on the ice.
It was fantastic. Shorthanded goal, power play goal, Gabe Landeskog goal, and 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
Gabe Landeskog's goal, it was a goal. It wasn't a garbage.
It was a classic goal, is what I
It
should
was
say.
so amazing.
So this one, the Avalanche win 4-0, ergo tying the series at 2. Logan O'Connor gets things kicked off with a shorthanded goal. And when I say he did everything on that play, he did everything on that play. He hooks away the puck and muscled his man down to the ground before breaking out and scoring. And it was incredible.
But he's been doing it he has shown up for every single game. And his contract, does it not start till next year? Is that?
Ooh, I don't think so.
We got him for 6 years at $2 million starting next year. Like this, we aren't even losing care of him this one.
And the thing is, it's like he could have a breakout year at any moment, and you know it's coming. That's the thing,
guys. Like as a coach, I would give anything to be able to like teach people to have that in them. But what Logan O'Connor has is something that you are born with or you're not. Like you either understand that work and that just that intensity. I don't know, and he must talk a lot of really good shit because man, they hate him so much.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible. He's just someone that I don't want to say you hate him if he's not on your team, but you really appreciate him when he is.
They certainly do.
Well, that's for sure. That's true. But the Logan O'Connor goal followed by a Nathan McKinnon power play goal, that one was kind of a weird one where it kind of knuckle pucks over Rottinger's shoulder. We'll take it. But the goal that everyone's going to be talking about for years to come is the Gabe Landeskog goal, like you had mentioned before. It was just one of those, it almost felt like watching it in slow motion, Yeah. Where
he did a little intentional fake, like he did a look over, like he was going to pass, and Lord knows we've been passing enough that they probably believed him. And man,
as soon as you hear the pipe, it's the short pipe ring, right, where it hit net to
and
that was the moment where I knew that the place was going to blow up, and it did. That place was probably the loudest I've ever heard it.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I've never seen Max smile like that. And it was even nice, like, if we're being honest, Brock Nelson has kind of sucked a little bit for a good part of this.
Tiny
and for
bit.
him to be, you got to think that like a good majority of this team hasn't ever played with Gabe. And so you got to wonder if in this game, I was kind of thinking about it the other night, that first game back, he probably kind of struggled with being assertive and feeling like the captain, right away. But you could tell that second night, like, the way Brock Nelson was excited for him to score that goal instead of giving him the pass that he was, you know what I mean? It's just, I think Gabe Landeskog will go down as truly one of the most universally most respected and well-liked,
very revered
players.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's got to take Sakic's job, but I don't know. Maybe he'll go back to Sweden. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Anyways, so that puts him 3-0. Gerard gets a beautiful snipe that kind of sails through everyone. Awesome to see him kind of get on the board as well. So just wanted to shout that goal out.
And they thought it was Landy's at first, and of course, Landy is a good enough person to say no. It was Sammy.
He's an honest player, like most of them tend to be, right? When they say nope, didn't touch my stick, right? It's kind of similar, where he points back to Sammy G and says that one was yours,
and Sammy deserved it. Frankly, Sam Girard, Josh Manson, Parker Kelly, and Logan O'Connor have been our best players up until this point. I mean, McKinnon has been good. I'm already planning the funeral of Drew Ann's career with the Colorado Avalanche. Should we lose tonight, I'll be hosting a funeral. Crying in my bed.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves now, Britt. Come on.
If we lose tonight, I just don't know how we beat him, but he has been non-existent. Nichushkin, he had one breakaway goal, but other than that, almost non-existent. Lekkonen, fluky goal. Other than that, we need more from a lot of people right now.
That's very true. But you skate away with a 4-0 victory, ergo tying up the series at 2, like I said.
Shutting
Here's
them
the
out
hard
felt
part.
good.
Here's the hard part about reflecting and digesting those first 4 games is that you were 2 overtime goals away from sweeping them.
So after the game that we won 4-0, up to that point, Dallas had only had a lead for like 70 seconds of the series.
Not a lot of time. Yep. And somehow that game ended, and somehow the series was 2-2, despite them leading for less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, but in the end, they led when it mattered.
That's exactly it. Is the Avalanche could not put it away when it mattered. You could have literally gone 4-0 and moved on to the second round. All you needed to do was score 2 overtime goals.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part about this, Brit, is now here we are looking game 5 down the barrel, and the series is tied.
Yep.
Right?
It's really, really hard to stomach.
That's the hard pill to swallow. And it becomes even more difficult as game 5 in Dallas occurs and they lose big to the Stars. But it wasn't that bad during,
just as we handed their asses to them the game before.
Exactly.
I was embarrassed for them.
And that was the hard part. So you lose 6-2 this game. They score 2 goals, one in the first 10 seconds, another in the last minute of the first period, right? Both of which were like you have got to be kidding me. There was 0 skill involved. They were the flukiest. Yep.
One of them is like the first one. Blackwood should not. He should. Dude, you're 666 inches tall. Seal your post, buddy.
And I thought he did. It sure looked like it from the angle where it's like he looks like he was sealing everything just fine. But it just took that one bounce where he kind of angled himself just away a little bit, and it goes in. So, but it's like you couldn't buy that type of luck if you're the Avalanche.
No, especially in this between the refs and the pucks.
Yeah.
And the refs did not lose the game for the Avs or take it from them. They lost it themselves, but it was certainly
and we'll get to that in just a second because I have beef with 2 calls. Well, one called, one not called, I should say. But we'll get to that in a second. The other goal in that first period, the puck got blockered straight up, landed on Backwood's back, and
rolled down all 666 inches of him.
I'm just sitting there, just floored. Like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, Dallas had 0 to do with those goals.
Ooh.
Right? I suppose that Baby Billy is correct. There was the bicycle kick. We have gotten one, I suppose. However, we haven't gotten 2.
I cannot believe that people actually think that he would have like the wherewithal to kick that with intention into the net. Like people saying that it should have not counted. Delusional.
Yeah. So Billy is correct that we did have the bicycle kick, but again, you're just sitting there going like, you've got to be kidding me. Like the puck luck there was just uncanny, right? Yeah. But 2 goals down, I'm like, this isn't an insurmountable hill to climb. Well, then our beloved Mikko Rantanen scores a goal on this 2-on-1 breakaway.
Salt in the wound.
That's what makes it hurt even more. Is it had
if
to
it
be
was Matt Duchene.
It had
Matt
to be
Duchene
Mikko.
Scoring now is whatever, but God
I
damn
know.
it,
Now
Mikko.
it's going to be Mikko, I feel. So now you're down 3-0, and I'm like, okay, you need to seal it up for the rest of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get these goals back. Well, guess what? They get 2 of the 3 back, and you're down within 1 now. Within the span of a couple of minutes, it's now 3-2, and you're like, okay, just keep playing your game, your style. The goal will come to you soon, but you have to go and get it. That's the big part. You have to go and get it.
Yeah.
And they just stopped playing. They said, oh, the third goal will come in time. Well, no. They just
the
stopped it. I don't know what to say.
The appearance of apathy was shocking. I mean, it was honestly so disheartening to see how every single pass. I mean, I think, was it the worst game we've ever seen Cale Makar play?
As far as playoff games are concerned, I'd like to believe that it's up there with not just Cale, with a few people.
Yeah.
But it was just like I couldn't believe it. How they just wasted time effectively. Like, again, if you just went to go get it, clearly Ottinger wasn't going to play his tippy top game. You just had to go get it and play with urgency that we have talked about for years now.
Right.
And they just stopped, right? As soon as they get those 2 goals, Dallas responds in kind with 2 of their own within another 2-minute span. And suddenly you're staring down a 2-5 deficit with the third period remaining. They get the empty netter, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it was just like such a tease, and it just felt so gross. And
Now, that being said, like we talked about before, there was a couple of refereeing incidents that I personally very much disagree with. The first one, I can't remember in what order they occurred. But the first one we'll talk about is when Nathan MacKinnon, and it is caught on pretty much any camera angle you'll look at.
Yeah.
Gets checked, full arms extended to the back of the head, and you see his head whip forward. No call.
Like the neck, the bare spot between your shoulder pads and your helmet, the most vulnerable part of your body that's exposed, truly.
And there was no call. Not even a replay, nothing, like 0.
Yeah.
So that right there, again, I think this is while you were a couple of goals down at the time.
Yeah. And we did swap out Blackwood for Wedgwood going.
That is true, right?
Wedgwood was, however, Blackwood was definitely not good, but
right. A lot of the argument is, well, the game was going to be out of hand, or was out of hand anyways. Yes, however, that doesn't rule out the fact that the call should have been made.
Right.
Because if Colorado scores, that could burst them with a new sense of urgency.
Right.
We've seen this team, Britt, sorry to cut you off.
No.
We've seen this team come back from 4-0 with a half a game left.
I don't count this. If they're within 2 goals and more than 2 minutes left, I'm not done. Like
3 and I'm hesitant. 2 and I'm like, they can go and get this back. Right. So that power play gave them that chance. Sorry, go ahead.
It just in all games, I would think our hope, our willingness to be hopeful that the margins are way wider for what they can accomplish in a short period of time. Yeah.
So that could have given us a chance to come back to within striking distance.
Granted, our power play is abysmal. Absolutely.
It's not good.
Abysmal.
But a broken clock's at least correct twice a day. So, it maybe could have happened. You don't know. The other call that that's probably the one I'm fuming over more than anything, was the show that Jamie Benn put on where I believe it was Josh Manson.
Oh, yeah, when he skated back, Josh Manson's stick.
And you see him locate and purposefully run into Josh Manson's stick. Manson has no idea Ben is approaching from that.
And he's not even holding his stick hard. Like it's not
or
like
high for that matter.
Pressure. No, and also put a visor on, stupid. Then you wouldn't go right into your eyeballs. I dislike that man more than him. And now your brother on the team.
Yeah, my cousin, old Liam Bixel. How about that?
He has found his
first time in my life I'm going to see that name. That means I can play NHL and have my last name pronounced correctly.
Oh, man.
Even though they freaking can't do it on the freaking broadcast. They keep saying Bixel. And so every time they say it, I just scream Bixel, pronounce it right. Anyways, that aside, the hard part about this though is these are non-reviewable calls.
Right.
You cannot coaches challenge a missed call or let alone a embellishment, a very blatant
I
embellishment.
can't believe he didn't get a fine the next day for it. He should be fined. It's embarrassing. Him and Marchman are truly, and Marchman has been fined multiple times, I believe, for embellishment. Some of the most embarrassing circus acts I've ever seen in the game of hockey. Which
it was ridiculous. And I think what made me more upset was that there were a lot of missed calls in this game. They did go both ways. I will admit to that.
Yeah.
But it was not the ref's brightest moment.
Yep.
Right. And the hard part about this is, and in fact, I think Fernando has the right comment here. How does the league not address this to the refs? So I'm going to go a step further. I think the referees need to have a post-game interview about made or missed calls to show some kind of accountability.
What did you see? What's your reasoning? Because a lot of the time, maybe we'll understand after you.
You just need to tell us your point of view.
Have two refs on the ice and have people calling from the catwalk or something above. There's not enough room on the ice as it is. Like, the game is too fast and too big. Get these assholes out of the way. They're constantly interrupting the play.
Yep.
And get some help from up above.
And I'm really hoping that this kind of does open up that discussion of, like, coaches should be able to challenge more than they can, right? Because right now you can challenge the offside, you can challenge for goaltender interference, and now you can challenge for delay of game.
Yeah.
I feel like in these types of situations, though, I'm almost now thinking maybe you should be able to challenge for more, because it clearly doesn't hold up that much time, and clearly there weren't that many instances where now this delay of game that was new this season, it didn't happen that often.
Like, I don't understand how it can possibly take. Look at the Jumbotron playing the video. Like, holy
seriously,
crap.
like, and the NHL has camera angles that we people that are watching the game do not get to have. So they have a lot more resources to see these types of calls.
Yeah. This year, the reffing has been far worse. It's been so much more noticeable than it ever has. It's never felt like such a blaring, you know what I mean? Like a misstep on the NHL's part. It's never felt this bad. Even when our refs, like for the Avs in particular, games or series or whatever, were bad, I've never felt league-wide like there was such a universal discussion over the reffing being this bad this year.
And it's, again, it goes all back to if you could just have the post-game interview with the referees that called or didn't call the event or situation in question.
Everyone is held accountable except them.
Exactly. Right. And all it needed to be was when the ref said, yeah, we were wrong. At least admit it. That's the bare minimum you can do.
Humanize them at least slightly and probably at least give a little bit of solace and empathy on our parts. But truly, they're like the way that they're so sheltered makes them just villainish.
It does. And that's the hard part. Because obviously I don't want to say these refs took the game away from us, like you said, right? It didn't change.
No, but it's a compounding vibe, and momentum is a big deal.
Yeah. Anyway, so that being said, there were two places right there where, sure, if you're going to call the Manson high sticking, call the embellishment at the very minimum, so they skate 4-on-4.
And there is some people have the mind that if there is a penalty, there can't also be an embellishment. But there can. I mean,
that's kind of the whole point of
I swear to God, Nick, did you watch closely? I am almost positive that he scratched his gum or something inside his mouth, he was showing the ref that there was blood from inside his mouth.
Well, I would not put it past him. However, there are a lot of players that try to eke to show blood, right?
Oh, for sure. That's what I told Michael. Do you think some of them just scratch?
But to do it after an embellished high stick, that's the low ground. Yep, that's the low ground. So obviously, it is what it is. We can start talking about it for a long time, but eventually, Britt, we're going to get in an agreeing screaming match, if that makes any sense, where we're just yelling at each other but agreeing about the same thing. But the fact remains, they missed those calls, and if you disagree, you need to reevaluate.
Yeah, and getting
what
them
you
may have
see
not
as
necessarily changed the game. The Avs could have also just not played like shit.
exactly right. It doesn't take away the fact that the Avs had their chances that they did not capitalize on. However,
Dallas, you have to commend them. They took advantage of every single mistake that the Avs made. We
they
outshot
did.
them.
They did.
Blackwood was the best postseason goalie up until this point, which, oh my God, can you believe Hellebuck is doing it again? I just have to talk about that before we go. But
well, they could potentially clinch or move on tomorrow against St. Louis, but we'll if we have time, we'll kind of do some around the league impressions.
But Blackwood is gonna just have a stinker sometimes, and I am totally on board with this way. We don't have to seed him for a whole game, because he's gonna have to rest at some point, and also just stop like mentally torturing him. It just, I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right.
Seen so many poor breakouts from. I think Makar was on the ice for the first 3 goals. It was, and I said it before. The margins that he has for mistakes are so much smaller that when they are capitalized on by the other team, it can look embarrassing. And frankly, they all did. But there's no way Kale doesn't come out and play way better, or that we find out he's got a broken sternum. Taze too. I mean, Nichushkin, Lehkonen, Coyle, Nelson.
I'm ready to see all of them. I'm ready to see all the injury news come out or something. I don't know.
If they don't win tonight, it's scary as to what.
Oh, I'm already expecting a novel of text from you tonight.
There's going to have to be earth-changing decisions made, because Chris McFarland did I think he should win GM of the year. And I didn't say that last year, and I didn't always say that about Sakic, but truly the most masterful job with bringing in goaltenders. There's no better roster, like man for man, in the league right now. We're healthy. We have good goaltending. There's no freaking excuses. So if we can't do it with this group, it's scary to think what that shakeup might look like.
Yeah. But that's what we're faced with now. That brings us to today, right? Game 6 at home, which you have in your pocket. That's always good. But you are on the brink of elimination.
Yeah.
Right? If you do not.
Every time I hear that, it just makes me, the brink of elimination makes me want to pee.
It gets the butterflies going, that's for sure. But that's how it is, right? Dallas could push you out of the playoffs tonight. Okay. So that being said, you have to play this game and then game 7, if it comes to it, with everything you have. Because no matter what, the series ends on Saturday. And next
then maybe
week,
do it for the next game too. I mean,
and next week, Britt, we're talking about either what to do in the off season or round 2. Right? That's where we're at right now. These types of series go by really quickly
for them to be eliminated in the first round. It truly, and
Nor
a lot
should
of it is criminal that these two teams are playing each other. Dallas does not have Heiskanen
or Robertson.
But then that's what we did to Dallas last year too. So we took them. Do we take them 7 or was it 6?
Dallas 1-6 last year.
Okay.
And lo and behold, it was in Colorado too. So I kind of want retribution. Is that too much to ask?
And I believe that this team can do it. And that's why this will hurt so much.
Exactly. Well, because you look at the wins that they had. The 2 wins that they had have been by multiple goals.
Yeah.
5-1, 4-0. The only thing that, again, is the frustrating part is the chance was right there to sweep Dallas. So with that being said, I'm not going to say, clearly, such and such, the opportunity to close it out was there. Okay. So I'm not going to say, Dallas was better in the series. They got the right goals at the right time is what happened.
And
Now,
that's
that's not to say that they didn't want it more. Clearly, Dallas has shown they want it more. That can change game to game, though, Britt.
I swear to God, Nick, that game 4 was the best game of hockey I have ever watched from a Colorado Avalanche team. And I truly believe that we're never going to have a better roster or a better chance to win the cup within Makar and McKinnon's prime. Again, I don't see how it's possible.
Potentially. I think you might be right. So that being said, what, Britt, do the Avalanche need to do to stay alive out of Game 6 and carry into a maybe Game 7?
Show up. I mean, and that's everything that they require to win. They've all got it, but all of them need to show up. And hoping we'll see a better game out of Blackwood, but they just need to show up. I mean, it's the intensity and shoot the damn puck. And I know that is so like hockey mom in the bleachers screeching. But
it's cliche, but it's right.
Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right. My key to the game not only is you have to play with that intensity, that urgency, not panic, but urgency. But how this game starts, this first period especially, you have to at least skate out of there with a 2-0 lead. If you want to get really nitpicky with with specifics, you have to go into that period with it, out of that first period with a 2-goal lead. Why? Because Dallas doesn't play well from behind. That could be different in this story, obviously, but clearly they've shown that when they're falling behind, the frustration takes over. The mistakes get made.
The whole series, other than that last game, chasing the lead, it has to be exhausting. And this team is older than we are, slower than we are. We're on our ice, good ice, like freaking figure it out and then do it again. Like if any team's gonna win 2-0, it's them.
Yep.
And honest to God, the road from here seems to only get easier until we meet the Panthers in the Stanley Cup. And that is, I
love it. Just keep in mind, the only times when the Avalanche had a multi-goal lead during the game, they won those games, right? Everything else, like a 1-goal lead, Dallas would tie, then go on to win in overtime. So all you need to sustain, and again, in the first period preferred, because that is where the momentum begins.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the first minute and the last minute of the period. Like Eric Lacroix always talks about it.
You got to start them and close them out.
Yeah.
Really
Don't kill the momentum for the period or going out of the period.
Yep. That's exactly right. So that's the key to this Game 6. It's pivotal. It's make or break time. You either move on to Game 7.
Do I say discipline every game? But the stupid penalties. Have you seen his Malinsky in the lineup? That was a backbreaker of a penalty, man.
It was pretty ridiculous.
The box is going to be critical tonight. I forgot to look at the lineup, and it is.
Let's see.
Do you bring Miles Wood back, or do you bring EJ? EJ might be back, which kind of sucks too, because man, Malinsky can shoot that damn puck.
He can. He very much can. Or Ross Colton. He was scratched last time too.
He's hurt. I don't even. What happened?
I don't know. He just disappeared.
Game 1.
I don't know. So that's kind of where we sit. So that's our keys to the game, and obviously it's going to be multiplied times 10 if you go to Game 7, right? Because no matter what, the series ends on Saturday, right? And it's a win or go home mentality tonight.
And I hope that things. Did you see the video of McKinnon yelling at Charlie Coyle?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be that deep. He was just frustrated at the moment. I almost can guarantee they talked about it and smooth things over after the game.
I just
We're not that type of people. Both of them.
I hope
do that. Yep.
And Coyle didn't seem like he gave a crap anyways, so he was unfazed.
So the only thing, again, another reason why you need to win Game 6 is Tyson Berry is going to be in attendance. And if you don't win in front of that man, I will go there and personally slap every last player for letting my favorite player down.
Sweet lullabies in the locker room beforehand.
Hey, I told you that in private. Come on now. So we're gonna have to see, Brit. It's gonna start tonight, and if you move on,
my digestive system is very aware. My stomach hurts.
Oh yeah, my stomach's already churning. Oh, you betcha. So,
I realized the other night that I am like a miserable sports fan because I struggle to even be like, I'm excited about this game, but I won't be excited, like be able to actually feel it until the game is over and we've won.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so that being said, we're going to hop off early so you guys can enjoy the end of, well, hopefully it's the end of the Maple Leaf Senators game. Wild and Golden Knights. Oh, Golden Knights just scored a second, so they're up 2-1 now. There are 4 potential elimination games tonight.
Yeah.
Right? If the Leafs win, they move on. If the Golden Knights win, they move on. If Dallas wins, which it better not, they move on. And then the Oilers can also move on tonight.
Oh my God. I can't. If there is
we'll have
that does not deserve to move on.
We'll have words. However, with the Avalanche, they know what they need to do. We need to stop coaching them from our office chairs. But the fact remains, next week we'll either be slightly more, we'll be feeling better, maybe.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have to talk about off-season moves. So we'll have to see. So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode of the Cluster Puck Podcast. Again, if you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the MHRT network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck Podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, you can do so at the Cluster Puck Podcast on Facebook and at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. With that being said, everyone take a big, deep breath.
Oh, one more thing.
It's going to be fine.
The right vibes. Could you believe how out of control the goalhorn man went when Gabriel Landeskog scored?
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
He was hitting that button for all of us, man.
I vote for giving like full freedom to goalhorn men from now on. They just get to do whatever they want. They have 2 minutes after and they just, oh my God, he must ring that thing 9 times.
He rang it a lot, man.
I need to hear it
a lot. Okay, well, that being said, on to game 6. We'll see what happens. So, that being said, have a great weekend. Hopefully it's less stress.
Yeah.
Or something. If it goes to game 7, it's always the highest of stress. But eventually it'll go away. And we'll talk to you guys next week. So, enjoy game 6. And as always, go Avs, go.
Fast lane when I pass in the street. Bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.